BunnyCast, episode 11, recorded on October 17th, 2008.
Some artists plan stuff. Other artists just disappear for months on end and don't tell anybody what they're doing. This is one of the artists that does that. And some guy he talks to.
I'm just some guy now, huh?
Yeah, that's your technical title. Some guy.
Gotcha.
Sometimes the dreams come back and seem so real to me. The sky turns so cold and black.
Okay, welcome to another BunnyCast. Much delayed, especially considering how long it's been since the last one, where it was going to be our big triumphal return. Everybody say hello to Killerfish again.
Hello to Killerfish again.
Okay, let's jump straight into things, because we want to make things a little bit shorter than has been traditional. In news, we don't have much forum news to report, because we haven't been on the forums.
Bunnydom is a state of mind. You do not need to be on the forums 100% of the time in order to be a bunny.
Just having participated is enough, huh?
Yes, it is.
I
At least
think,
that's what I keep telling myself.
I think we're still considered to be honorarily present because you did the Keenfans, and well, I guess I'm just a legend.
Yes, we are legends in our own lunchtimes. At least I am, I think.
In comic news, let's see, the stuff that's happened since the last podcast has been actually quite a bit. Leading right up to the point where Dan's not updating a whole lot anymore.
Well, it is a continually evolving story, and it does take a lot of thought to determine what direction he wants to go in. So I'll give him that for the thing.
Well, true. One thing
Plus, he did start the NP stuff up, so
yeah.
He's trying to think of two stories at once here, which I can tell you from experience isn't very fun.
Well, you should leave that to your story writer.
That's a good thing to do. Have somebody to write the story for you.
Indeed.
I agree with that.
The thing with the NP is I'm very pleased that he started that up, and one thing I had hoped was that he would go ahead and continue the NP, which would allow for more frequent updates since people just don't expect the same storytelling and quality and
continuity.
Continuity. Basically, he could do the NP as a gag a day. And this is something I know you and I have discussed a little bit before in talking about other comics and websites, where it's really nice that they have the one big comic where they do the updates and the feeds and all that kind of thing, but they also do like Control-Alt-Delete and Apple Geeks come to mind, where it's they got these little comics that they release on a daily or every other day basis, and that keeps people...
I think Tim Buxley, who does Buckley, can't pronounce his name properly, sorry Tim, I think he actually just uses the same image pretty much all over for his for his little comic.
Is that Control?
That he does the Control-Alt-Delete one, yeah. Because the artwork looks very, very similar in each panel.
Well, yeah, but see, that's one of those things. It's still an entertaining little side.
Yeah. What was that? There was a webcomic which used basically the same images for every single comic. I can't remember what it was called, though. I'll find out for you by the next one.
Is that the Professor... What's his name?
It's one with dinosaurs in it.
Oh, that one. Oh, Johnny.
Yes.
I can never get into that one.
No.
There's actually a few comics that do that. There's the Professor, whatever his name is. That one's kind of entertaining, but the ones that I found the most interesting, actually, are the ones where they enter into sort of surreal, like In His Image. It's a comic about God, which sounds like totally dry and talked down to you, but you have to read it. Basically, the guy portrays God as a big dot, and the devil is a big red dot with horns, and Poseidon is a dot with what looks like a little bit of sheen. So he's like a bubble or a drop of water. And then there's Chris, God's fanboy, and and he's a dot with a zipper.
Right.
It's an extremely fast and simple comic to produce, but that gives them time to do writing. They can update very, very frequently since it's just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. And even if they don't copy paste, it's just a matter of dot and you're done.
Yeah.
So definitely worth checking out. But when we'll do a review of that at a later time.
We did some news and a recommendation at the same time.
Yes, we did. Look at that. So we're going to skip miscellaneous news and news about other comics. Because if you don't know the news in your country by now, then you're not paying any attention and you're living under a rock.
What, you mean you don't live under a rock?
No, I don't live under a rock.
This changes everything.
Let's move on to the discussion a little bit.
Okay.
As everybody can hear, we've only got the 2 hosts today. We did this because we wanted a couple reasons. First off, we wanted to catch everybody up on Killerfish, and we haven't heard from him for a while.
Yeah.
So
not that I've been planning anything devious, such as world taking over.
World taking over.
Yes, I'm changing grammar as I speak.
Okay, well, we do have the video podcast that we recorded that I left on your camera.
You did leave it on my camera then?
Yes.
It's a good thing I haven't deleted it then.
Yes, it's a very good thing. Oh, and speaking of, I left my tripod mount on your camera.
Right.
In any case...
so it took you how long to figure that out? Considering this...
About 30 seconds after you left. Yeah, it was,
right.
Yeah.
And it took you from August to now to tell me this.
Well, there were more important things to talk about.
Oh yes, good point.
But I'm looking at the podcast, and we have not heard from you on the podcast since April. So,
yeah, sounds about a regular timing for my usual hiding from the world, then reappearing and not actually doing anything kind of cycle.
Okay, so just tell us a little bit about what's happened with you since April, and do include a little bit about Comic-Con if you could.
Okay then. Well, I've been doing temp work basically. That's to pay for my life, because not everybody can afford to make a living by doing comics, especially not those who don't have any perceivable skill in doing so. Anyway, I've been doing temp work since April, enough to actually pay to me to get to Comic-Con, which was a blast. As always, a blast to be at Comic-Con. A little bit different this year from previous years because of course, I had to help out with my hosts, and I'm always grateful to my hosts because they let me stay around and provide food, so always good. What else happened? See, I don't really have a concept of time, really. I'm kind of like Doctor Who in that regard. Time happens to other people. I just ignore it and it goes past. So yeah, I've been working, and of course, recently I bought a scanner and a new tablet, so I should be doing more art soon, apart from the fact that recently my main computer's died, so I can't make any images.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
That is something that we are working on quite frantically, folks, by the way. Steps have been taken to get things up and running, but it's taking a while since Killerfish's main computer technician is on the other side of an ocean.
Well, not from me. He's literally kind of like a 20-minute walk away from me. But from your point of view... Pardon?
I meant me.
Oh, right, yeah, you.
Because your other computer...
I've got two main technicians.
Ha.
Yes.
You've been seeing somebody on the side, have you?
No, I've been asking my brother for help.
That was a joke. You didn't pick up on it.
No, I didn't.
You did that on
I deliberately didn't take up on it.
Yeah, I see how it is. Okay.
That's the way to do it. Deny them of fuel, and there will be no fire. Zen, I think. Anyway, just recently the economic situation has caused temp work to dry up for me. So I'm looking at a bit of free time, but I'm having to actually find a more permanent job, which is fun. Other than that, that's me caught up with. I've got a couple of projects I'm working on with several bunnies. I won't go into them because, hush hush. Hush hush. Hush hush hush. Hush 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 hush.
Well, yeah, right. Naturally.
Yes.
Is it okay by you if we talk about our project?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't quite sure if you wanted to talk about it, which is why I didn't say anything.
No, I'm good talking about it, because if we don't talk about it, nobody knows about it, and not enough buzz is generated from it.
Okay, do you want to say the title of it, or shall I?
I'll go ahead and say it. It is Squatta's Adventures in Babysitting.
Woo! Yay!
Regular forum goers will know that during, I would say, 2004 at this point? It's been a little while.
Yeah.
On the forums, Squatto got Helennet pregnant. And rather than dismiss it out of hand, I decided to run with it. And from that, Xena came to be. And I kind of wasn't really planning this, but everybody on the forum said when I got my wife pregnant that, Xena's coming to real life. I was like, okay, that's fine. I like this plan. But during the whole war between comics story arc that happened because of the Evil Overlords Online comic.
Yeah, that's it.
I got an idea for something that would happen between when Dark Killerfish and Squatta flew off into the sunset, and when that story arc started up, where Dame Helennet decided that she was going to spend a little time with the cute ninja that needed somebody to babysit Xena. And
so, naturally, you'd call in the homicidal knife-wielding blonde with a bad temper.
Naturally.
As you do.
Because, as you'll see, she would be the only one that could do it. And that's going to be our teaser for the comic that we're working on. It's going to be something that we're going to be releasing as an actual book comic. Chances are you'll be able to purchase it through usual online self-publishing resources, whose names escape me right at the moment, and I'm not going to bother looking them up because
Kablam or something like that.
Right.
Kablam.
Yeah. But we are talking about the possibility of releasing individual pages online in black and white, and then releasing the full color versions in the book form. So everybody will have something to look for.
Just to tell everybody, these are not going to be the usual Keenfans-sized pieces of art. They are actually going to be A4-sized pages, like an actual comic book.
Right.
So there you go. There's another little teaser for you.
Okay, one thing I wanted to kind of touch on is you'll note a couple things. First off, the lack of Squatto.
Yes.
That's because things that have happened in Squatto's life and my life, not so much in Killerfish's life because of his lack of a job right now, but
Woo! Unemployment.
Things have conspired to make it so that Squatto is asleep when we're doing this recording. In fact, right now I think it's, 3 in the morning there?
Something like that.
Yeah. When we originally set up the podcast, it was going to be recorded in my afternoon on Friday or Saturday with Killerfish reporting.
It was kind of like late at night.
Yeah, like 10 or 11 your time or something like that. And it was going to be like first thing in the morning, like 5 or 6 for Squatto. So basically, I got the good end of the deal on that one. But
yes.
Because I have since had a child in my house, and Squatto's gotten a new job, and my job has changed the way it sets up my hours and all that kind of thing since then. I basically can't do it any other time than Friday morning, and Squatto can't meet with us then. Of course, it's Friday night by your time, right, Killerfish?
It's actually, at the moment of recording, 5:45 in the evening.
Yeah, there you go. So it's not a bad time for you, but it still makes it a really rotten time for Squatto. So,
we can't really do that to somebody, can you? I mean, getting somebody up really extraordinarily early in the morning and making them kind of come up with witty comments or suggestions or ideas just when their brain is just getting kick-started. It's not fair.
Yeah, no, it's not. And on top of that, I mean, I know what it's like to have to go day after day without enough sleep. And, I mean, he's got a fairly successful job that he's working on, and we don't want to do anything to sabotage that. So with the exception of those very rare times when he happens to be up, like he's decided to pull an all-nighter or something, the joys of being single, then we'll go ahead and not have him be on the podcast. But he will be acting in the capacity of being one of the producers. What he'll be doing is he's going to be taking basically requests to be a guest host. We've had several people on as guest hosts in the past, Kyrio and Sir Robin, and let's see, who else have we had on? Well, that's been pretty much the extent of who we've managed to have on the published podcast, but we've also had in the hidden archives that I haven't posted yet, we've had Troy and a couple others.
Hang on. We had... who did we have? I can't remember. We had J-Car. He was there.
Right.
And Zephyron. And
he was on the podcast? I don't remember him being on the podcast. I mean, I'm talking about the video one.
Yeah, I'm talking about the video one.
Oh, the video one. I was talking about the audio one.
Well, we were talking cross purposes then.
Indeed. But yeah, we had quite a few guests for the video podcast. Okay, well, as you can hear, we've got a little bit of a hum, which is going to lead me into talking about the technology behind the current incarnation of the BunnyCast. When we first started, it was 3 Windows PCs hooking up over the internet via Skype. And right at the moment, we're still using Skype, but that may be changing due to some recent revelations with how Skype operates. They basically... calls can be recorded, and things are not really as secure as Skype has been saying they have for the last year and a half or so. So we're going to be looking into alternatives. In the meantime, we'll still use Skype. We're not going to interrupt recording just because of the potential that somebody might be listening in. But we want things to be as secure and high quality for the bunnies as possible. Besides,
what really do I have to say which is of great importance to anybody?
Well, there's the whole privacy thing.
Yeah, well, you know,
we'll get into that in a later podcast.
Yeah.
As to the technology involved, you'll notice a definite change in the audio quality on my end, and that's because I'm using the area mic built into my MacBook. I was going to use the headset that I've been using on my PC since I managed to get the audio recording quality fixed in episode 3, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
But the microphone jack on Macintoshes doesn't work the same as the microphone jack on a PC. So I have to get a USB adapter before I can use that headset. But in terms of the software on my MacBook, of course we're still using Skype on the MacBook, but I'm using a program called Audio Hijack Pro. It's a really, really good program, and you'll note that the audio quality for Killerfish, who is using a headset, and Squatto last week, is fantastic.
I'm not using a headset.
You're not using a headset?
No.
Oh. I thought you were
I'm actually using the internal mic of my Asus EPC at the moment, which is probably why you can hear a weird humming noise, because the fan has kicked in.
Well, yeah, we'll have to figure out a way to keep your computer cool without the fan kicking in.
Maybe if I set it on a huge block of ice.
No, that would be the computer that would have to sit on the huge block of ice.
Yes, because I would just want to sit on a huge block of ice. It'd be fun.
Yeah, so
I could melt myself a chair.
we are both using the built-in microphones in our computers, and honestly, Killerfish, I have to admit that your microphone's audio quality is probably better than mine.
Wow.
So, which is surprising. I thought that the MacBook would have better audio quality.
Aha, never underestimate the power of, I think it's Korean built technology, I'm not sure.
Yes, I think MacBooks are built in China, but don't take my word for that. Okay, well, before the hum gets too loud, I think we're pretty much done, unless you want me to go into my rant about the economy.
Well, you can if you want, because we've not been going too long, and it depends on how long you want it to run.
That's true. Just 22 minutes so far. That's very, very impressive. Our site's short from our usual hour and a half on the discussion section of the podcast.
Rant time?
I'm sorry?
Rant time?
Nah, I'll save that.
Okay then.
That's a good main topic for discussion. So
Okay.
but let's talk a little bit about Q&A. Obviously, we don't have Q&A this time because, well, neither of us have been on the forums to check for Q&A. But we do still welcome Q&A, and as was briefly touched on when I was talking about Squatto's new role, we are going to be accepting guest hosts. It's going to be, there's going to be a line, a queue. You're going to have to check in with Squatto, and he'll let you know what particular day that you should be ready to record. And, some time.
Yes. Very important.
We're going to welcome pretty much anybody on the forums who wants to come in. We're going to limit it to at a maximum of 4 hosts, so we'll have a maximum of 2 guest hosts at a time. So it might be a little while depending on how long the line is. And if you're open to doing multiple guest hosting stints, then you're welcome to do that as well. But you're going to have to get in line for all that. So
basically, we're letting anybody in just so long as you're vaguely coherent and you have something to say about any particular topic we throw at you.
Should be fun. Let's talk about the webcomic for review.
Yes.
Now,
sequential art, isn't it?
Yes, it is sequential art. I know, Killerfish, you have not read the entire thing.
Yes. Because I made it to about 20 comics.
Well, I think that has to do mostly with the way the site navigation is. There's no real good way to go back to individual dates, or even to save a single date, because the way he has you navigate the site, the actual day that you're on is buried in the website code.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you
I
don't
found that not very helpful at all.
Yeah, so that has the potential to lose some readers, and obviously, in the case of Killerfish, already has.
Sorry.
It's all right. However, those of us who are quite content to sit down with a comic and power through it in one sitting, Sequential Art is a very, very, very good comic. The art is top-notch. The artist chooses to, and this is a wise decision on his part, I think, to not do any sort of coloration in his comics. But from day one, you can tell that he is a consummate comic artist. He is really, really good. And it's obvious that he has not been picked up by a major studio because of his own choice. Because he could easily, just based on his artwork alone, be picked up by, I think, any major comic house in the world. Including the manga houses in Korea and Japan.
I'd agree with that statement.
Yeah.
The art wasn't the thing to put me off, it was the navigation.
And I think he does his own site navigation programming too, which might be what caused that, because sorry, Killerfish, but artists shouldn't program websites.
Don't worry, that's one reason why I don't program websites.
But the basic landscape for the comic itself it's a world a lot like ours. There's a couple fictitious countries, and I believe the setting that is in the comic is in England. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Killerfish. But there's just little hints and clues that say this is not in the United States, this is not on mainland Europe, this is not in South America. The way they talk, the way they dress, some of the things that are mentioned that go on. But
then again, it could be Australia as well, or New Zealand.
It could be, yeah. I'm leaning more towards England just because of the weather presented in the comic. For instance,
yes. Well,
it rains a lot in the comic.
Hey. It's covered with blue skies here at the moment. Not a cloud to be sighted.
Yeah, well, my wife has been in England. She can tell me about the rain.
Okay, granted, it rains during summer, heavily.
Anyways.
But hey, it's not bad.
Anyways, but it's written in such a way that it did take me like 50 comics to figure out, this might not be in the States. Basically, wherever you live, unless you're living in like a desert, this is probably a comic that you can easily imagine happening in your own hometown. But it centers around 4 characters. The first 3, you kind of get the idea that the artist didn't put a lot of thought into the naming, because the main male lead, he's an artist, and his name is Art.
What that?
And then there's the main female lead. She's a cat girl.
Wait. Don't tell me cat?
How'd you know?
Oh, I'm just psychic.
With a K. Cat with
Yes.
a K, yes.
Yeah.
I believe it's supposed to be short for Catherine, but still.
Yeah.
And then there's the penguin, and his name is Pip. And he's an anthro penguin. He's not a pet penguin. By the way, yes, this world is one where humans and anthros live side by side. And apparently it's not... You
mean the real world isn't like that?
No, unfortunately not.
You've disillusioned me. You've completely disillusioned me.
Well,
it's like that time that Squatto told me that Santa Claus doesn't exist.
I told him he should have waited. I told him.
Oh well, at least I still have the Easter Bunny.
You believe that. Yes, as I was saying, anthros live side by side with humans, but it's not the obligatory furry comic. In fact, the artist makes fun of people who dislike furries in a particular comic that he does. It's not actually part of the main sequential art sequence. You have to go to his main website, which is, I believe, jollyjack.com. Let me look at that up real quick. It is collectedcurios.com. He goes by the online name of Jolly Jack. But if you go to Collected Curios, you can see a whole bunch of his selected artwork, including a side comic, which crosses over a little bit with sequential art. I can't remember the name offhand. I think it's Spider and Crab. But there's a point where if you read the sequential art, and then you go back and you read Spider and Crab, I think it is. Or is it Spider and Scorpion, or Crab and Scorpion, something like that. It's an insect and a sea creature. Then you'll...
Okay. Ladybug and pike.
No, it's a...
No, wait. Dragonfly and shellfish.
Closer. It is some sort of shellfish.
Yes.
But you'll definitely see the crossover point. It's actually a very amusing nod to people who like people who watch DVD extras. It's a little bit of extra enjoyment.
Yeah, I mean, who would buy a DVD and not listen to the audio commentary?
Indeed. It's like one of the nicest things about a DVD.
Exactly.
One of the main characters we haven't talked about is not obviously named, and that's the point at which you can tell that the artist is saying, okay, this comic is obviously going to be a major commitment for me, so let's actually get a little creative with the characters. And that is Scarlet, the Squirrel Girl. And if you can imagine a perfect blending of a ditzy blonde and a squirrel, then you have Scarlet. She's not blonde in the comic, but boy, howdy, she fits every stereotypical role of a ditzy blonde. Which is funny because one of the aspects of her is that she is, as she states very early on in her introduction, she's a scientist.
Well, scientists can be ditzy as well.
That's very true. But I mean, think about an ADD child on crack. And that's about what you have when you talk about Scarlet. And there's been several different story arcs, but it focuses mainly on the lives of these people as they deal with rooming together. Should be pointed out that Scarlet doesn't really pay rent. She just sort of hangs out in the attic with the other three who do pay rent.
Sounds familiar.
It probably is absolutely worth it to sit through and power through in a single sitting. Now, one thing I will say is that the artist loves the game Portal, and you can see that in his current story arc. And I won't spoil things too much, but it involves a GLaDOS-like computer and what appear to be Portal gun-like guns, and that's about as much as I'm going to say about it.
Okay.
And the current story arc does do a lot of reveal into Scarlet's character. So if you're reading through the beginning comics and you're getting frustrated because they're not telling you who Scarlet is or where she came from, just read through until the current storyline. That'll answer a lot of questions. It raises a bunch as well, but it still answers a bunch of them.
Righty.
So I'm going to go ahead and give it my thumbs up in spite of the difficulties with site navigation. Killerfish?
Going solely off the art that I viewed of it, the guy can draw. So if you're going along thinking, oh no, this sort of comic I should avoid because of this element or that element, if you're looking solely on your artwork, it's a good comic. So I'm going to give it my thumbs up as well.
Excellent. So basically, go read the comic. It's a very, very good comic.
Really, at some point, you point out comics people should avoid.
I think
because we're far too nice. We're far too nice.
Oh my heavens! You know what? I just took a look at the site navigation,
Yes.
And he's fixed the issue with not knowing which comic you're on.
Okay. I'm going to have to go through the entire archive then.
Yeah, down between the navigation buttons, which, by the way, he's improved. It used to be a sequence of numbers surrounded by 2 arrows, and you had to go through them one at a time. That's how I wound up reading the archive. But he's improved the navigation arrow system, and he's added what the comic number is between the arrows. Let me see if you can actually edit that. You can! Awesome.
Okay then.
That is.
I'm going to go through it then.
That is 50 million times improvement. So, I guess there's absolutely nothing preventing us from saying, go read this comic.
Yes, go read this comic.
Oh, and by the way...
We really should be meaner. I think we should be meaner at some point, because if we keep saying comics are good, it's going to lose its impact, isn't it?
If you want me to review a bad comic, I can review a bad comic.
It would make a nice change of pace. You know.
Alrighty. Let me think here. What bad comics can I possibly review? I gotta bring up some bookmarks here, because I usually archive them just for this kind of purpose. Let's see. Comics no longer.
And whilst he's doing that, I shall do a monkey dance. I can keep going.
No. Okay, I will continue looking into that, but let's... Killerfish, do you have a comic that you want to talk about for next time?
Well, I have recently gone through the archives of Ozzy and Millie, which is a Keenspot comic. I can talk about that next time if you'd like to.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we can do this one for the irritated webcomic review. Reckless Youth.
Okay, then.
Something to keep in mind for the future. But we'll do Ozzy and Millie next.
Okay, then.
Okay. Let's talk about our hosts a little bit here. We've got our host and sponsor is Shastrix.com or .co.uk, isn't it?
It's .com.
Still just .com. Okay.
Yes, that's what I've got here on the website thing that I'm looking at immediately, this very second.
They are a great hosting site. Jim, the lead programmer, has done lots of good things for us, which we've discussed in previous podcasts. And they have openly expressed that they would like to do a little bit more for other people. So if you have a webcomic idea or just want to show your art off, and go to the Shastrix people, and who knows, maybe they might even do a podcast for you.
They've got a little system going on the front page, which is the direct page, Shastrix.com, which actually shows you which comics get the most updates or have been updated the most recently. So you can just go through there and see which ones have recently been updated, and you can take a look at them. Plug.
Yes.
Plug.
Stop poking a plug at me. Okay, Killerfish, I know that you're not doing a whole lot because of your scanner issue in terms of your comic, so we'll skip that for the moment.
Okay.
And we've talked about my current projects, including my little baby, which just walked in the room with Mommy. How's she doing, dear? Uh-huh. Hungry baby.
Hey, Johnny.
Killerfish says hi. She says hi back. And of course, as everybody knows, Laguna Shy, which has recently updated quite a bit in NP and looks like it might be going on hold for a little bit. We're sad.
Yes, very sad.
But we have the archives.
Yay!
Alrighty, this has been Dame Helennet the LeatherClad, and what's your title again?
The Honourable Right Reverend Lord Sir Killerfish of the Keenfans.
Wishing you made it shorter now, don't you?
No, I can always remember it. It just takes me a couple of seconds.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Say goodbye, Killerfish.
Goodbye, Killerfish.
I got you, I don't care. Sometimes I feel like I'm controlled like a hero in a comic book, baby. Chasing one day after the next, no settle down, no easy text, baby. But it makes me feel alive when you're here by my side. You complete the two of us, you make the rules apply. It's a crazy world in a twisted turn of...
The BunnyCast is produced by the Order of the Bunny and is not affiliated with El Gunish Shive or its creator, Dan Shive. Any comments made do not necessarily reflect the opinions or beliefs of anyone but the speaker. Use of Because of Your Grace and Crazy World is done without permission. The BunnyCast has been produced by Dame Helennet the LeatherClad and Squatto, directed by Dame Helennet the LeatherClad, and hosted by the Right Reverend Sir Lord Killerfish of the Keenfans.
Power in my hand, the world at my command. But now all that I want is just to be your man. It's a crazy world, in a twisted turn of reality. It's you and me, and I need you here to keep some sanity. We are but pawns in a faded game of cat and mouse. Maybe a couple of guinea pigs thrown out here and there. It's a crazy world, it's all messed up in my head. I got you, I don't care.